Congratulations on making it to day 10 of the immersion. I am so proud of all of you. Welcome to day 10. Kudos to you for making it here thus far. It shows a great amount of discipline and willpower, and I'm so proud of all of you. Please give yourself a pat on the shoulder. Like literally just do it. Why not? Pat on the shoulder. Well done. Yes, I definitely feel a little bit bittersweet about it. I am really happy that it's day 10 because it's like, wow, we've done 10 days together. And at the same time, I do feel quite sad, that it is our last day together, but we can stay in contact over social media. You can follow me on Duncan Yoga on Instagram. I'll keep posting videos on YouTube. So if you haven't done my other videos on YouTube, I teach 2 styles of class. Well, actually 3. One is a Vinyasa class. These are all on YouTube. They're all free. One's a Vinyasa class. It's kind of like a little bit more, it stays more to like the traditional poses of asana. And it's a Vinyasa class, and we usually theme it around kind of like anatomy, and it's like intelligent sequencing. Then I also teach an Align Level 3 class on YouTube, and the Align Level 3 classes are like a more advanced level class, meaning that we do more weird asanas. And it's more alignment based, so it's more hatha, so it's less flowy and a little bit more kind of like do this pose, then do this pose, then do this pose. And a little bit more focus on alignment in those Align Level 3 classes. And then finally, I also teach an Intenso class, and the Intenso class is much more geared towards like power yoga, and they're really strong and fiery and much more contemporary. Like we blend a little bit sometimes of high intensity interval training, some like more high intensity Pilates, and just fun stuff in the class, and it's all set to a playlist. So that's definitely a little bit more contemporary and I guess you could say fun. Depends what your term of fun is. So you can stay in contact with me that way on YouTube or on Instagram, or you can also follow me on Facebook on Duncan Yoga. Website's duncanyoga.com. If you'd like to make a donation, I would love that. That would be so helpful and amazing. If you go to my Instagram profile and click the link in my bio, there's a link directly there where you can send a donation via PayPal. If you want to send a donation but can't find the link, just send me an email at duncan@duncanyoga.com. I'd super appreciate that. At the same time though, this 10-day immersion, I want it to be free. So the intention for it was to be absolutely free, to make it extremely accessible for everyone, no matter what your financial circumstances. So please do not feel pressured to do a donation whatsoever. But I have had people reach out and ask me how they can make a donation. So if you're one of those people, go to the link in my bio on Instagram, or just shoot me an email, duncan@duncanyoga.com, and I'll send you the PayPal link. It's www.paypal.me/Duncan Yoga. Thank you. So for today, we are talking about freedom, which I'm so excited about. It's our time to liberate ourselves. And I have coordinated my outfit again. The chakra we're working on today is known as Sahasrara, Crown Chakra. So the very top of your head, and its color is usually like a white or a very like light purple, like a very light violet. So like what I'm wearing. It's kind of white, kind of a very light violet. And the mantra for this chakra is, I am a vessel for love and light. So this chakra connects us to spirit, to what is divine. And so when this chakra is balanced and open, it allows for light and love, or whatever you view as divine, to flow through you. And you become this vessel for divinity, and it flows through your being. So I am a vessel for light and love is the mantra for this crown chakra, that you are able to allow whatever you perceive as divine to flow through you. Kind of like that day we talked about eudaimonia, allowing wisdom, creativity to come from an external source, and you having the capacity to pick up on it and listen to it and allow it to move through you. So there's a few different classical yoga terms that I want to talk about with regards to liberation, freedom, enlightenment. So the classical yoga terms are Samadhi, Moksha, and Kaivalya. Kaivalya, Moksha, and Samadhi. So the first one's Samadhi, Samadhi. And Samadhi translates as intense concentration that leads to union. Intense concentration that leads to union. And in Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, which is classical yoga philosophy, that's kind of the last, you could say, it's the 8th rung of the ladder of yoga. And Samadhi is basically, because in Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, they place a high emphasis on meditation. So Samadhi, being kind of like the later stage, is a stage where your meditation becomes so intense that suddenly, boom, you merge with that which is divine. You have this feeling of union. And so some people translate yoga as union. And there, there's a bit of, actually there's a bit of debate around that too. But, it's very common for people to say that yoga is union. And Samadhi embodies that when we go into this intense level of meditation, we will eventually reach a state of, boom, union, mind, body, spirit. It all becomes one, the sense of oneness. So that's Samadhi. Intense concentration that leads to union. And then moksha, M-O-K-S-H-A. There used to be a big chain of them in Canada and the US. They're called moksha yoga studios, or hot yoga studio. I used to teach at one. But then they had to change their name because in the US there was already a chain of moksha studios, so they rebranded to Modo. But moksha translates as liberation and release. So moksha is becoming liberated and releasing. Another way of talking about enlightenment, or you could air quotes the final step of yoga, becoming liberated, experiencing release. And then the third one that I mentioned is Kaivalya, Kaivalya. And Kaivalya this is kind of, I like this one because the translation is a little weird. Not weird, it's just, I like the translation of it. And Kaivalya directly translates as aloneness, our ability to be alone. And in context of spiritual liberation, Kaivalya means aloneness with our spirit. And for some reason, I dig that. I think because I'm a bit more of an introvert, and, I just love going out and being alone with myself. And so this translation for me really hits home, aloneness with spirit. So Kaivalya is aloneness, and in this particular context, aloneness with your spirit. So you're no longer preoccupied by the afflictions of your mind. And you're able to become alone with your spirit. And you say, thank you very much, Jimmy, or whatever you might call your mind. It's like, I've really enjoyed your company, but I've got to go spend some time with my spirit now. And that's Kaivalya, aloneness with spirit. And when we merge with our spirit, we have that experience of, you could say, oneness or union, as is kind of mentioned in Samadhi, of liberation, as mentioned in moksha. So this is really important to mention. Reaching Samadhi is not escapism. I think sometimes in our culture we're just like, I need to escape, and I need to run away from everything in order to experience Samadhi. And this is not the case. Samadhi is not something that's out here. Samadhi or moksha or Kaivalya already exists within us. And I think this is why, the practice of yoga can be so healing for a lot of us, is that enlightenment, peace, joy, freedom already exists within us. It's already there. We are already an enlightened being. The whole crux of the thing is that we've forgotten that, and our mind's preoccupied with things that, keep us in the dark, basically. So this brings me to one of my favorite quotes. It's by Sharon Gannon, who is the founder of Jiva Mukti Yoga with David. And she goes on to say, you cannot do yoga. Yoga is your natural state. What you can do are yoga postures which may reveal to you where you are resisting your natural state. And so if we liken this or put this in the context of liberation or freedom, moksha, samadhi, kavalya can already be present within us. And we've just forgotten that. And we're so caught up in our mind and caught up with perspectives that distort our perception of what's actually happening, that we lose connection to that freedom, that peace that already exists within. When we connect to this deep aspect of who we already are, this liberation, this spirit, this soul, it becomes incredibly grounding. Like when we connect to spirit or whatever you regard as divine, it's so grounding, because remember how we talked about one thing that's constant in this world is change, like everything is changing all the time. That's one thing that's constant. Well, the other thing that's constant that we also talked about is spirit. Like one thing that will remain steady, one thing that will remain steady is spirit, is that universal consciousness. That's where we can anchor ourselves to when we're searching for steadiness, to our spirit. And Viktor Frankl, he's the one that was put in the Jewish concentration camps and wrote the book Man's Search for Meaning. I think that's the title of it. He goes on to say, it is this spiritual freedom which cannot be taken away that makes life meaningful and purposeful. Like when we have that connection to our spirit and we feel that like, whoa, there's something steady here and that I can rely upon, that is a spiritual freedom, which cannot be taken away from us. It can't, because spirit is steady. Everything else is changing, but the one thing that will remain steady is that universal consciousness. It's always there. And that is what can make life meaningful and purposeful, at least according to Viktor Frankl. Because today's theme is freedom, it's also really important to note Buddha's quote, no one outside of us can rule us inwardly. When we know this, we become freedom. We become free. No one outside of ourselves can rule us inwardly. When we know this, we become free. So in a lot of ways, we are responsible for our own feelings of freedom. And a lot of freedom can come about how we perceive things and how we think about things and ourselves. So it's an inward practice. And it brings me back to, Viktor Frankl, again, Man's Search for Meaning, the man I just mentioned. And he goes on, this is one of his famous quotes. You've probably heard it a gazillion times. If you haven't, feast your ears. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. So our freedom lies in our ability to choose how we want to respond to what's going out externally. So it ties right back into what Buddha said, that our freedom, we'll acknowledge our freedom when we, sorry, let me go back to that. When we understand that no one can rule our inward experience, that we are in charge of that. When we hit this state of liberation and spiritual freedom, our sense of individuality vanishes. Our sense of individuality vanishes. It's like, boop, We merge into oneness. So we didn't go into all of the kleshas, but remember the other day we talked about, lack of awareness of vidya and intense egoism, which was Asmita, can cause suffering and, almost this feeling of like separateness. And so when we reach freedom or enlightenment or, aloneness, however you want to call it, that sense of individuality disappears because we connect with the greater consciousness. And then, we talked about this briefly. Buddhism, they believe that, sunyata is emptiness or this empty awareness, this voidness, and that's kind of what, ultimately reality is this voidness, is this empty awareness, they like to call it, which is known as sunyata. So it's another way of kind of viewing what freedom looks like in a different lineage, is tapping into this voidness, this empty awareness. It's nice to see how different lineages explain the concept of what it means to be free. Okay, so this kind of brings me to the summary of our whole 10-day immersion. It will kind of be the finishing philosophy spiel of the whole immersion. And it'll be kind of like a summary. So here we go. 11 things. How to feel free. Duncan's 11 things of feeling free. So it's a list of 11 things to help feel free. Number 1. Let go of judgment and embrace curiosity and inquiry. Let go of judgment and embrace curiosity and inquiry. If you don't want to write this down, you don't have to. I'll put it in the Facebook group. If you're not part of the Facebook group, HOV Club on Facebook, HOV, HOV Club. Number 1, let go of judgment and embrace curiosity and inquiry. So let go of like that incessant need to judge yourself and others, and instead adapt this approach of being curious about yourself and others and inquiring. Like, don't be afraid to ask questions. A lot of this training we've talked about how important it is to ask questions about our own thoughts and what other people are saying. So let go of the judgment, yet embrace curiosity and inquiry. And this comes back to the yoga term Svadhyaya. Svadhyaya, which was self-study. Number 2, let go of trying to please everyone. Just let it go. We have to do our best to be compassionate and kind with others and be respectful of them, but it's humanly impossible to please everyone. And this is not the practice of yoga. The practice of yoga is not trying to please everyone. You have to let go of trying to please everyone. And this is an affliction that stems from asmita, intense egoism. So letting go of trying to please everyone, which stems from asmita, which is intense egoism. Because when you're trying to please everyone, you want everyone to like you. It's a symptom of the ego, of intense ego. Number 3, let go of overthinking. Let go of overthinking. It is good to think. It is good to think critically. Like number 1, be curious, inquire. It is good to think. But you can definitely overthink things. So let go of overthinking. And this is the traditional translation of yoga. Yoga chitta vritti nirodha. Yoga is the cessation of the fluctuations of the mind, or yoga is having the capacity to calm your mind. So when we let go of overthinking things, we're actually doing yoga. Yoga is that. Number 4, embrace and celebrate uncertainty. I'm still working on this, but it can be so liberating. It can create feelings of freedom when you go out into the world and you're like, you know what? Today I'm going to embrace uncertainty and I'm going to celebrate it. Like when something wrong, air quotes, wrong happens during the day, maybe you just say to yourself, plot twist, let's go, and you just embrace and celebrate it. You won't be able to do this all the time. If you can, high five. But if you can have that attitude to, embrace uncertainty or celebrate it a little bit more. It does help create feelings of freedom. Number 5, pay attention to where you are focusing your energy. Pay attention to where you're focusing your energy. Remember, we talked the other day, where your focus goes, energy flows. So what are you focusing your energy on? Is it something that's helpful to you in this moment? Is it a book that's helpful to you in this moment? What are you watching on TV? Who are the people you're surrounding yourself with? Who are the people that you're placing all of your attention on? Pay attention to where you're directing your energy. This is known as Dristi. Dristi, where you're looking, what you're seeing. What are you seeking out in the world? Because where you put your attention on can have a big impact on how you feel. So if you want to feel freedom, you have to pay attention. What am I placing the majority of my attention on? And is that helpful for me to experience freedom? Remember, you are the same pulsing consciousness of the universe. You are the same pulsing consciousness of the universe. This can be Mahima and Spanda, this pulsing universal energy, Mahima, remembering that we can be expansive and big when we acknowledge that there's more to us than our physical body. We have this consciousness that can expand outwards and beyond. So remember, you are the same pulsing consciousness of the universe. Cherish your body, cherish your mind, take care of these, and acknowledge at the same time that your consciousness can move beyond these physical restrictions. 7, be playful. Lagima. We talked about Lagima, this ability to be lighthearted or so light that you levitate. Be playful. Have a sense of humor. Life can be really hard. And sometimes it needs to be hard, and sometimes we need to allow ourselves to, live that burden. And also, it can be very helpful to temper the burden of life sometimes with a sense of humor and a sense of playfulness. 8, cheer yourself on. Tapas. The ability to cheer yourself on. Can you develop a narrative in your mind that is supportive and cheers you on, especially to try the things that you've always wanted to try and do, to go out and achieve what you've always wanted to achieve. 10, do the work. 10 is do the work, and that's Abhyasa. We skipped 9. That's okay. Do the work is Abhyasa. That's number 10. So that means you have to act and think and speak in a way that cultivates the feelings of freedom. If this is how to feel free, there's work involved in feeling free. And that work means you have to pay attention to your actions, how you're thinking, how you're speaking. Work doesn't have to be perceived as this negative thing. It can be perceived as kind of almost this necessary thing, that if I want to feel free, it has to be something that I practice over and over again. Are the actions that I'm acting upon creating freedom? Are my thoughts that I'm thinking creating a sense of freedom? Is my voice and the way I speak in the world creating freedom? 9, love and accept yourself. Ahimsa, so compassion. Having the ability to love and accept yourself. And this means acknowledging our imperfections with love and kindness. And when we can see our perfections with love and kindness, I think that's very, very powerful. And then number 11, believe in something. Believe in something. And hopefully something that connects you to a bigger picture than your self-centered narrative. So believe in something big. like believe in a community of people, or believe in Mother Nature, or believe in a God, or believe in, you know, something that takes you out of your self-centered narrative, because we all have it, and helps you believe kind of in almost this expansive quality-like way, where you're like, you have faith. So that brings us back to our day. We talked about trust, faith, Shraddha, known as Shraddha. So this is Shraddha. Shraddha. Believe in something. And these are things that can help us feel free. So kind of a summary of the course. We didn't touch on everything we talked in the course, but a little summary. And then I'll also, if you're watching the YouTube videos and you're not in Hav Club, I'll put it on the description of this YouTube video. If you're watching YouTube, I'll also put a link to donate in the description of the YouTube video. So if you just go to the description below, all the information will be there. Last comment. Practicing yoga is a privilege. The fact that we can all be here right now and do this practice is a massive, immense privilege. And so with this privilege comes the duty to be kind and to help others in any way that we can. Whether that's lending an ear or being of service, you know. Practicing yoga is a privilege, and with that comes the duty to be kind and be helpful towards others. And final quote by Toni Morrison. She is a Black writer, African-American writer in the US. If you are free, you need to free somebody else. If you are free, you need to free somebody else. And I think that's a beautiful quote, especially given the circumstances going on, that if you're feeling free, it can be this very beautiful, powerful energy. And so can you use that energy basically to be of service to other people? And this is kind of the whole foundation of yoga. You know, people who have reached enlightenment, you know, multiple accounts have said, you know, when you reach a certain level of enlightenment, you kind of choose if you want to stay on this world or leave your body altogether. Because when you hit real, air quotes, real enlightenment, or like very deep levels of enlightenment, your ego ceases to exist. So you can't really operate in the world anymore. You kind of transcend. You transcend. And so, you know, people like the Dalai Lama or the Buddha or, you know, Baba Hari Das, you know, who've experienced those experiences have chosen to come back to this world or chosen to stay here in order to be of service for others. So they've used their feelings of freedom to be of service for others and to help others experience that same freedom. So I think it's just important to say that at the end of all of this. I love you all so much. Such a privilege to do the 10-day immersion with you. Thank you for showing up for me, but also for yourself. Like, I'm so stoked that so many of you did this whole 10-day immersion with me. It made me so happy. I kept telling Joe, I can't believe how many people stuck this out. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And also please thank yourself for being this committed and showing up. Let's practice. Da da da. Please come to your mat and come to a comfortable seat. Close your eyes. And can you bring your shoulders more or less right above your hips, your skull right on top of your spine? And after all that talking, can we just take a moment to direct our attention inwards, connect with our breath? Please bring your hands together in front of your chest, palms touching. May this practice of yoga remind us that yoga happens in the now, in the present. Yoga is having the ability to calm our mind, and then we will be able to catch glimpses of who we truly are, which is spirit. Universal consciousness. And in that moment, a feeling of union, of oneness occurs. Gently blink your eyes open. Good. Come onto your hands and knees. And come right into downward facing dog pose. Oh, oy vey. Okay, bend your right knee, let your left heel drop heavy. Take a deep inhale into the body. And a full exhale. Switch sides, bend your left knee, let your right heel drop heavy. Deep inhale. Full exhale. And then straighten both legs, downward facing dog. And just put a little bit of a bend in your knees. And with that tiny bend in your knees, drive the tops of your thighs back and up so that your anus tilts a little more towards the ceiling. I think that was day 2 or 3, I can't remember. And as the pelvis tilts a little more upwards and your anus goes up towards the sky, imagine as if there's that sunflower seed in there, and boy, is it sprouting. And you want it to keep growing, so it has this feeling of freedom. So you gotta let that light shine on in. And then try to maintain that and slowly straighten the legs. And if you lose that, then keep your knees slightly bent. And then balance it, temper it, by drawing the front lower ribs in towards the spine. And then can you almost find that energy we were talking about yesterday in the continental drift from your belly button up all the way to your fingers and hands? That pushes forward and down into the floor. And then from your upper thighs down through the legs all the way through the feet, that roots down and back into the earth. Roll the outer shoulders back. Turn the inner biceps forward. Take one more deep, slow breath in. And a full breath out. Good. Please bend both of your knees deeply. Step your right foot forward. Drop your left knee down. Inhale, reach both hands up. Try to get a little more vertical through the torso. Pull the front ribs in. Squeeze the left glute. Catch the left wrist with your right hand and side bend towards the right. Can you keep your chest
lifting. So try not to hunch forward. Bring the arms back. Keep squeezing the left glute. Keep drawing the lower ribs in. Take one more deep inhale. Full exhale. And inhale, both hands up. And exhale, left hand comes down. Right hand reaches up. Now step your right foot all the way to the back of your mat. So you're in a modified side plank. Modified side plank. Place your right hand on your right hip and lift your right leg up so your right ankle is level with your right hip. Good. Look at your right foot. Notice if the leg is externally rotating. Can you keep it more or less neutral? And that will probably get more of the abductors working than the external rotators. So turn your right foot a little more parallel to the floor if it's turned out. And lift that right leg up a little higher. I'd put your right hand on your front low ribs and pull them in so you're not back bending. Nice. Reach that right arm up towards the sky. Full inhale. Full exhale. And now bend your right knee. Look at your right knee. Try to keep it parallel-ish towards the floor and try to bring your right knee forward. Just so that's in front of your right hip. Good. And then kick it all the way back. Okay, just one more time. Bend the knee. Try to bring it forward. So it's kind of in front of your belly button, in front of your right hip. Good. And then send it right back. And take one more deep inhale. Lift your right leg up higher. Keep the low ribs pulled in. Good. Exhale, both hands come down towards the ground. Downward facing dog pose. Take a deep breath into your body. Full breath out. Bend both of your knees. Step your left foot forward. Drop your right knee down towards the ground. Inhale, reach both hands up. Try to get a little more vertical. Squeeze your right glutes. Pull the front low ribs in. Catch the right wrist with your left hand and side bend to the left. Take a deep breath into your body. Full breath out. And try not to collapse that right shoulder forward and down. Try to open up across the front of the chest. Bring the arms back. Drag the left heel isometrically back against the mat and your right knee forward slightly, like you're scissoring the legs. Take one more full breath in. Full breath out. Good. Both hands up. Full inhale. Exhale, right hand comes down. Left hand reaches up. And then step your left foot back to a modified side plank. Push your right hand down into the ground. Take your left hand to your left hip. Lift your left leg up so that it's more or less level with your left hip. And then just notice, look at your left foot and try to get it more or less parallel to the floor. So the leg's not externally rotating. Nice. Place your left hand on your front low ribs. Pull your front low ribs in, flexing the front core line. Okay. And then reach your left hand up towards the sky. Take a full inhale. Exhale, bend your left knee. As you bend it, look at it. Try to keep it parallel to the floor. Try to keep your left shin parallel to the floor. And bring the left knee so it's in front of your left hip. Try not to stick your butt back too much. And then straighten the left leg straight back. Just one more time. Bend the knee. Try to keep the knee and the shin parallel to the floor. Bring it slightly forward. Good. And then kick the foot back. Good. Inhale, lift the leg a little higher. Lift the chest. Exhale, hand and knee down towards the ground. Downward dog pose. Take a full breath into your body. And a full breath out. One more deep inhale. Full exhale. And please come forward to plank pose. Inhale. Exhale all the way to your belly. Hands back behind you. Inhale, lift your chest, lift your arms, lift your legs. Shalabhasana. Roll your inner thighs up. Keep your knees absolutely straight. Lift the chest, lift the arms, lift the legs. Draw the shoulders down the back. Can you let your heart move forward and up? Imagine that continental drift we talked about yesterday. Take one more inhale, lift everything up. And exhale, release. Bring your elbows and your forearms in front of you. Interlace your hands together. Tuck your toes. Come into a forearm plank. Push the elbows and forearms down. Try to get your head parallel to the floor. Take one more full breath in. Full breath out. Now walk your feet in, send your bum nice and high, Dolphin Pose. Keep pushing the elbows and the forearms forward and down. Send your butt back and up towards the sky so that you're trying to get as much distance between your right elbow and your right hip. And then as much distance between your left elbow and your left hip. So you push those arms down to get the hips higher. Look back at your feet so your neck is relaxed. The shoulders are working. The head is relaxing. Take one more deep inhale into your body. Full exhale. And drop your knees down towards the ground. Come onto your hands and knees. Inhale, tilt the sit bones up, open your chest to the front. Exhale, drive the hands and knees down, round through the back. One more time. Inhale, look forward, tilt the sit bones up. Exhale, round and arc through the spine. And inhale, neutral spine. Downward dog pose, send the butt back and up towards the sky. Take a full inhale into your body. Complete exhale. Amazing work, team. Step your feet together. Come onto your tippy toes. Lift your heels high so your calves are turned on. Your lower legs are strongly engaged. Lift your right leg back and up towards the sky. Keep both hips facing down. Take a deep inhale. Full exhale. And now open the hips. Lift your right leg higher to the sky, almost like you're doing the splits. Push through both hands. Now bend your right knee, right heel towards your right butt. Can you try to clamp the heel towards your butt? Lift your right knee a little higher. One more breath in. Exhale. Bring your right knee across towards your left elbow. Pause. Can you get the knee higher than your elbow? Like lift it up. Can you get your right knee to touch your left armpit? Whew. The core really has to work. So get that right knee more to the left and higher up the arm. Push through both hands. Come on, push. This might be our last day on earth. Push. Lift that right knee up a little higher. Bring it a little more to the left. You can do it. One more breath. Get the knee up. Push through both hands. Drop your right knee right down to the ground in the middle of your mat. Reach your left hand up to the sky. Back to modified side plank. Take the left hand behind the head, close to your right ear. Push your right hand down and side bend through the torso. Let your ribs flare upwards to the ceiling. Press your head back against the forearm, like we did yesterday. Try to send your left elbow up and over towards the ground ahead of you. So you're trying to create almost like a rainbow arc with your spine, with your head. Take one more deep inhale. Breathe into your ribs. Full exhale. Both hands come down towards the ground. Step your right foot between your hands. Step your right foot between your hands. Turn your left heel flat. Come all the way up. Warrior Two pose. Bend into your right knee deeply. Go for it. It's our last Warrior Two all together. I mean, except for the other side that we'll have to do. So it's our last Warrior Two on our right hand side all together. So go for it. Spread those arms wide. Let your shoulders relax. Look just off the tip of your right middle finger. Take a slow, steady breath in. And a slow, steady breath out. 3 more breaths, just like that. Can you let that breath invoke feelings of expansiveness, Mahima, what we talked about yesterday? Inhale, reverse warrior two, reach back. Just like yesterday, take the hand behind the head, wrap the hand more towards your left ear. Press the head back against the forearm. Take one more deep inhale into the body. Press that right elbow up towards the sky. Good, and then exhale. Take your right elbow to your right knee. Take your left hand up and behind your head. Push that right elbow down against your left thigh. And again, just like yesterday, let the ribs displace upwards. So you're creating a side bend. Press the head back against the forearm. Breathe into the ribs and chest. Can you go a little bit deeper in your front thigh? But keep pressing through the back foot. Good. Now reach your left hand back towards your left foot and try to shorten the left side of your torso so that you bring your left lower ribs closer to your left hip. There's more contraction there. Nice. Now push down strongly through both feet. You can do this. Stretch your right arm overhead like you're reaching for a glass of tea, a cup of tea. Okay, now stay there or add the left arm overhead as well. Take 3 more breaths. You've got this. Turn the chest up. 2, keep the lower ribs pulling in. Push both feet into the ground. Straighten both arms. And exhale, cartwheel both hands to the ground. Step back, downward dog pose. Take a full breath in downward dog. And a full breath out. Well done, everyone. Step your feet together. Come onto your tippy toes. Lift your heels high. Squeeze your calves. So the lower legs, your second heart. Remember that day we talked about how we have 2 hearts? Your second one's in your soleus, your peripheral heart that pumps the blood back up. Squeeze the calves. Lift the left leg back and up. Keep both hips facing down. Good. Push evenly through both hands. Now open the hips. Lift the leg real high. Almost like you're doing the splits. Bend the left knee. Clamp the left heel towards the left butt. Lift your left knee a little higher. Take one more inhale. Exhale, left knee comes across towards your right elbow. This, for the last few months, has been my favorite core work. Just holding this twisted planky thingy. Push the hands down. Bring your left knee as high up the right arm as you can, as close to the armpit as you can. And if you really bring that knee to the right, and then you really lift it up and push your hands down, boy, you're working your obliques, you're working your rectus abdominis, you're working the serratus anterior as you push through the hands. It's a beast. Hold for one more count. Bring the knee a little more to the right. Lift it a little higher. Good. Now drop your left knee down in the middle of your mat. Right hand up, modified side plank. Take your right hand behind your head. And then side bend. Push through your left hand. And as you drive your left hand down, let the body side bend overhead. Breathe into the ribs, breathe into the chest. Take 2 more breaths. Press your head back into the forearm. And one last deep inhale. Full exhale. Well done. Both hands come down towards the ground. Step your left foot forward between your hands. Turn your back heel flat. Warrior 2 pose. Come all the way up. Bend into your front knee. Square that chest to the right and look just off the tip of your left middle finger. Breathe. Steady breath in. Steady breath out. Can you keep that steady, slow rhythm of breath, maintaining a sense of pressing down, a sense of heaviness and depth in the legs, complemented by a lifting up from the pelvic floor all the way through the spine, through the crown of the head. And can you take one more deep inhale? Stay low in that front leg. Well done. Right hand to your back leg, reverse warrior two, reach back. Take your left hand behind your head. Press your head back into the arms slightly. Take 2 more breaths, breathe. Keep that front leg opening. Good, exhale. Left elbow to your left thigh. Good, right hand behind your head. Push your left elbow down against your left thigh, side bend with the torso. Press your right elbow up and over, like you're literally trying to create a rainbow shape with your torso. Press your head back against the right forearm. Stay low in the front thigh. Draw your front low ribs in. Take a deep inhale. Push down through that back foot, exhale. Good. Now reach your right hand back towards your right foot and try to shorten the right side of your torso. So no more side bend. Take away the side bend. Try to draw your right shoulder towards your right hip. Good. And then maybe float the left arm overhead like you're reaching for a cup of tea, and that front leg's got to work, baby. Burn, baby, burn. Stay here or push down through both feet, draw the front low ribs in, reach the right arm overhead as well. Turn the chest to the right, push down through both feet, only 2 more breaths. You've got this, straighten those arms. One last breath in, and exhale both hands to the ground, step back, downward dog pose. Take a deep breath into your body. Full breath out. Inhale, come forward to plank pose. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a steady breath into your body and a steady breath out. Step your feet together. Come onto your tippy toes again. Look between your hands. Option 1, stay here. Shoulders are over your wrists. Option 2, 5 hops. Maybe you get stuck in a handstand. Wherever you are, take 4 more breaths or 4 more hops. 3 more breaths or 3 more hops. 2, keep pushing through the floor. Breathe. And then land your feet at the top of your mat. Step or jump forward. Halfway lift, inhale. Fold forward, exhale, release your head. Inhale, reach both hands all the way up towards the sky, full breath in. Exhale, hands to your heart. Inhale, reach both hands up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step or jump, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog pose. Stay in downward dog, focus your eyes on one place. Slow, steady, rhythmic breath. And step your feet together. Come onto your tippy toes, lift your heels, shoulders over wrists. Think of a handstand, bend your knees, step or jump. Halfway lift, inhale. If you're in your handstand, hinge at your hips, fold forward, exhale. Inhale, reach both hands all the way up towards the sky, full breath in. Exhale, hands to your chest. Good. Hands to your hips, bend both of your knees. Don't worry, we're not doing Utkatasana. I got a few funny comments from all of y'all about doing Utkatasana. Step your right foot back about 4 feet. Line your feet up, heel to heel. Turn your back foot in a little bit, setting up for Trikonasana. Inhale, spread your arms wide. Exhale, reach your left arm far forward, and then take your left hand down to shin, ankle, block or floor. Right hand up to the sky, Trikonasana. Look up or look down, your choice. Can you find that length on the left side of the torso and shortness on the right, like we did in extended side angle when we put both arms overhead? We're trying to engage the right obliques more and lengthen more through the left. You breathe deeply. Eyes are steady on one point. 2 more breaths. Good. Look down at the ground. Right hand on your right hip. Shift forward. Lift your right leg up. Halfmoon Pose. This is one of my most favorite poses for feelings of freedom. I just feel like you can spread all your limbs in like opposing directions. The right hand reaches up, the left hand pushes down. The right leg lifts up, the left foot puts down. It feels like freeing for the body. Okay. And if this pose is challenging enough for you, then I'd like you to just stay here. Don't worry about what we'll do next. Otherwise, take your right hand to your right hip, bend your right knee and bring your right knee towards your chest, kind of like we did earlier when we were in that side plank variation. Okay, bring the right knee towards the chest. Good. And then grab onto your right ankle and then kick the foot back behind you for Chapasana. If that's not available, then you just stay in Halfmoon Pose. You can keep lifting the chest up. Kick the foot back if you have the foot. Good. Take one more deep inhale. Remember the dialing out energy through the left foot that we talked about, I think, on day 4 or 5. Take one more deep inhale. Full exhale. Come back to Halfmoon Pose. Straighten the right leg if you're in Chapasana. And exhale, both hands to the ground. Step your right foot forward. If you used a block, place it on the other side. Inhale, come up. Bend both knees, step your left foot back. Line your feet up heel to heel. Angle the back foot in just a little. Inhale, spread the arms wide. Exhale, reach far forward. Right hand to shin, ankle or floor, or block. Left hand up towards the sky. If you can, look up to your thumb. If it's too much, look down. And then really allow your eyes to land. Like, let them land on one point. And then breathe. Three more breaths. Stay anchored through both feet. Good, and then look down at the ground. Left hand on your left hip. Bend into your right knee, shift forward, and now try to lift that left leg up to the sky. So your right hand has to shift forward. It can be on the ground or it can be on a block. Lift that left leg up. Push the right hand down to turn the chest open. Lift that left arm up. Lift that left leg up. Push down through the right foot. Breathe. Steady breath in. Steady breath out. Now, if this pose is enough for you today, then just stay here. Honor that. Otherwise, left hand on your left hip again. Bend your left knee. Bring your left knee forward like we did in that modified side plank. So there's that body memory there. Left hand catches onto your left ankle. And then kick the left foot back behind you for Chapasana. 3 more breaths. Breathe. Be kind to yourself. You know, if you fall out, be kind with yourself and just hop back in. 2 more breaths. If your foot's cramping too much, be kind with yourself. Come out, shake it out, come back in. 1 more breath. Kick the foot back, open the chest. Back to Halfmoon Pose. Straighten that left leg, reach that left arm up, take a full inhale, lift everything. Exhale, step all the way forward. Good. Put the block to the side, inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Step or jump back, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward dog or cobra. And exhale, downward facing dog pose. Take a deep breath in and a full breath out. Okay. Take your knees down towards the ground. I'm going to give you 3 options, so just pay attention. Option 1 is Dolphin Pose. Hands are on the ground, hands are interlaced. Option 2 is if you have a block. It depends on the height of your block and on your body proportions, but you can put a block probably on its highest height and then try to let the block touch the crown of your skull so that there's kind of like this feedback, this feeling of sensation at your crown chakra. So the corner of the block just very lightly touches the crown of your head. So there's like almost stimulation there. Otherwise, you're doing Dolphin Pose or headstand. So if headstand's in your practice, you can place your head on the ground. If you don't know what to do, just do Dolphin Pose. Okay? Otherwise, choose headstand or downward dog with the block. Walk your feet in and up you go. Regardless of where you are, can you focus on your breathing? Eyes are steady. Drive the elbows and forearms down. So the reason why I know we didn't really do an anatomy theme today, but the reason why we're doing so much side bending, where we're kind of like pushing our elbows up and over, is to kind of like prep our lats. So that in like, if you're in the headstand or the dolphin or the downward dog, you have this strong ability to push through the hands. And that push comes all the way from the back body. Wherever you are, take 5 more breaths. Try to keep your breath nice and slow and steady. Keep all of the weight, let's say, in the arms. Very little weight in the head if you're in a headstand. If you're in Dolphin Pose, your head's off the ground, so you don't need to worry. Okay, take 1 more deep inhale. If your legs are up, pike halfway down. And then everyone come down, knees to the floor, child's pose, everyone. Downward dog pose. Gently nod your head yes, and then no. Just letting your neck totally release. Hey, this is our last downward dog all together. Cute. All right, bend your knees, look forward, step or jump through to seated. Okay, bring both of your hands back behind you. About 1 foot behind the pelvis. Turn the hands out a little bit. Point your toes. If you're feeling like you need to take it a little more easy today, excuse me, ate too much tempeh last night. It's like, I need to get out. Bend your knees. If you need to take it a little easier today, bend your knees, both feet on the ground. If you want something a little more strengthening, both legs straight. Push the hands down first and just lift your chest. So your chest is real proud. Got that as the foundation first. Then option to lift your pelvis and legs. Hold for 5. Try to look forward towards the navel. 4, try to press the big toes into the ground. 3, push strongly through the hands. 2, broaden across the chest. And one last deep inhale. And exhale, butt comes down. Well done. Bend your right knee. Cross your right leg over your left. Option to keep your left leg in front or tuck your left foot back. Take your right hand behind you, reach your left arm up, big inhale. And then exhale, twist. Either hug your right leg with your left arm or take your left elbow to the outside of the knee. If you'd really like to go for a bind, then you're not allowed to. Just kidding. I saw someone's face turn around. You can totally go for a bind. Can you let your eyes eventually land on one point? Find that concentration, that steadiness. 3 breaths. And slowly release. Good. Switch legs. Right leg is forward. Cross your left leg over your right leg. And you can totally stay here, especially if your hips are tighter. Otherwise, tuck the right foot back. Right hand reaches up. Big inhale. Exhale, twist. Option to stay here. Or bind. Can you let your eyes land on one place? Smooth, steady breath in. Smooth, steady breath out. Good, and then slowly come back through center. Good. Spread your legs nice and wide. Inhale, sit tall. If you're really tight through your hips, keep your hands behind you and try to focus on just sitting upright. If you have a little bit more movement, option to slowly walk your hands forward and forward fold. Five slow breaths. Try to let your eyes land on one point. Dristi, steady gaze. Three more slow, steady breaths. And inhale, slowly come all the way up, please. And set yourself up for pranayama. So since it's our last day of the immersion, we'll kind of go through the three breaths we learned through the immersion. So we'll start with Nadi Shodhana, then we'll do Kapala Bhakti. So Nadi Shodhana is the alternate nostril one. We'll start with that. Then we'll go to Kapala Bhakti, which is the bunny rabbits having procreative sex. So that will be second. And then we'll finish with the Samavriti, which translates as the equal fluctuations breath. So that's when you inhale for 4 and exhale for 4, or inhale for 5 and exhale for 5. And then if it's available to you, you try to add the same count in retention. But for most of us, we're just staying with a 1 or 2 count retention or just completely omitting it. All right, so set yourself up for Nadi Shodhana. Come to a comfortable seat. And take the right palm facing up, bring the middle index finger together, place it in the center of the palm. Take a natural breath in. Natural breath out. And please close your right nostril. Inhale left for 4, 3, 2, 1. Close left and exhale right. 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale right. 4, 3, 2, 1. Close right and exhale left. 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale left. 4, 3, 2, 1. Close left. Exhale right. 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale right. 4, 3, 2, 1. Close right and exhale left. 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale left. 4, 3, 2, 1. Close left and exhale right for 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale right. 4, 3, 2, 1. Close right and exhale left. 4, 3, 2, 1. Good job. Release. Steady breath in. Steady breath out. Moving into Kapala Bhakti. Snapping of the abdomen back. Inhale fully, always through the nose. Exhale a third of the way out first, and then begin. As you keep snapping the belly back, can you direct the energy upwards towards the third eye? Up, up. It's called skull shining breath. It's meant to cleanse the mind. We'll do 10 more. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale all your air. And take a gentle recovery breath in. And a recovery breath out. Beautiful. Option to stay seated for Samavriti, the equal fluctuations. You can stay sitting upright or you can lie down on your back. Remember, the intention for pranayama is to choose a comfortable seat so as to make the breath work easier. Whether you're lying down or seated, please ensure you're comfortable. We'll begin with Samavriti. Remember, if my count is not appropriate for you, please ignore me and do the count that works best for you. The main intention is for the inhale count to match the exhale count and for there to be a certain level of gentleness to it. If you add in the retentions, do it in a way that feels very comfortable for you. Start with just a 1 count retention or 2 count.
If you're very comfortable with retentions, then your retention is the same count as the inhale and exhale. Take a natural breath in, natural breath out. Inhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhaling, 4, 3, option for retention at the top, 2, 1, optional pause, hold for 1, 2, exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1, optional pause, hold for 1, 2, inhale, 4, 3, 2, 1, hold for 1, 2, exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1, hold for 1, 2, inhale, 4, 3, 2, 1, hold for 1, 2, exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1, hold for 1, for 2. On your own rhythm now, inhaling, go to your own count. You do 3 rounds on your own. Release. Take a couple recovery, natural breaths.
Good. Then gently blink your eyes open. Please lie down into Shavasana, or take Shavasana in a position that's really comfortable for your body. Once you're on the ground, maybe take your arms overhead, give your body a big stretch. Take a deep inhale. Full exhale, just let it all go. Maybe one more time. Deep breath in. Sigh it out. Please take Shavasana pose, corpse pose, any way you'd like. I'm sure you are comfortable. As you lie against the ground, or wherever you are, can you maybe begin to perceive how your body might feel a little more free? Often after movement, our muscles feel a little bit more free. After breathing, our rib cage and diaphragm feels a little bit more free. Sometimes it's very simple to feel free. All you need to do is seek out what already feels free in your body, in your mind. Can you let your jaw relax? All the muscles in the face soften. The arms and the legs totally relax. And your fingers and your toes release.
Please take a deep breath in and out. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Stretch your arms overhead. Give your body a big stretch. Bend your knees. Roll on to one side. And push yourself up to a comfortable seat. With your eyes closed, please bring your hands together in front of your chest, palms touching. Freedom is Samadhi, concentration that leads to union. Freedom is moksha, liberation or release, the letting go. Freedom is kaivalya, being alone with spirit, no longer bound by the afflictions of the mind. Mantra, I am a vessel for light and love. Namaste. Woohoo! Congratulations! I'm doing the freedom dance. Freedom! Freedom! Good job, everyone. You did the 10-day immersion. So happy and proud for all of you. I have a bit of time to hang around and chat if any of you want to chat at all. If you need to go, you have things to do, people to see, or a bed to sleep in. I love you lots. Thank you for being a part of this. It was such an honor, such a privilege. For those of you who've been sending me sweet email messages and Instagram messages and Facebook messages and I haven't responded yet, thank you. I'll get to them. It's been very busy the last few days, but I will get to them and I will respond. I love you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Take care. You have all my details. If you need anything, just email me at duncan@duncanyoga.com.